It's just a great community because you know everybody. The bus driver drops your kid off and they're waving at you. You see them out in public, they know who you are.
As far as being in East Canton, I never ran into a coach that was not a positive coach, that didn't make you feel good about what you did.
You'd have a sleepover, people just throw sleeping bags out in the backyard.
Those weren't just my coaches, they were my parents' friends, they were people that I looked up to and supported me beyond high school.
We want to put our kids in the best situation to be successful. Same story with life.
I'm still friends with a lot of people today. I can say I've got 40 years of friendships with a lot of people, you know.
East Canton, you just kind of know everybody, you know all the families. It goes back to sports, to school. I love the pride. The one thing I like about East Canton is where I'm from.
We stayed in East Canton because we liked the small town. We liked knowing everybody. We knew we were going to have kids, and we wanted them to experience the same things that we did in a small town.
It's different at East Canton. You know, we're a pretty small school. I think we're one of the smallest public schools in the county. There's not a lot of, different high school cliques per se. Everyone is involved with one another. I remember some of my best friends I met in choir. I met some of my best friends was on the track team. Some of my best friends were on the, basketball court. That's what the greatest thing about East Canton is. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. As a community as a whole, we are all together. We are proud of how small we are.
When you're friends at East Canton, you're friends. I think I graduated with 60 some people, so you know everybody's brothers and aunts and uncles and where they live and what classes they're taking and what grades they get, and it's just a tight-knit community. It's a village. When they say it takes a village, and this is really the epitome of that.
I remember sitting out at Joe Burgess's house one night, and we listed all 84 people that we graduated with. Now, what other school could you do that with? And we remembered every single one of them. And I think that's special because, those people are ingrained in your heart and they're ingrained in your memories.
It was such a cool environment because you just know everybody, you know all the families. Everybody's a family in East Canton. And that's what makes it awesome here, is even after we graduate and went our separate ways, we still keep in touch. And that's the one thing about athletics, is it bonds you guys for life.
It was a pretty poor day in Dover where we had the relays, and the weather was bad. I wasn't jumping well in warm-ups. Coach Sternberg really he'd never gotten after me like that before. He put me in my place and told me to suck it up and get ready to compete, because that's what we were here to do. And I jumped a new school record. Sternberg kind of trying to instill that mentality in me of maybe overcoming those kind of obstacles, having a bad day, and being able to still compete. I think that was pretty important for not just track, but for anything in life.
Mr. Davis is probably the most influential male role model that I've ever had. He was my freshman English teacher. He's the only teacher that ever gave me detention for talking, and I deserved it. I was talking, and then he made me run that day at practice because I was late for practice because I was serving the detention that he gave me. So he shaped my life. I mean, I named a child after him. He was more than a coach and more than a teacher, and he was just the kind of person you wanted to be around and that you want, your kids to be like.
I got to go back to Mr. Shadle. He's the one that pushed me, and if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have accomplished what I did. Statewide, I was ranked statewide, and then by the time I got to the state meet, I set records. 400, I set records in the 200. It was just the best experience. I mean, and I competed on the college level, but the state championship for high school was just the greatest experience for me. Because of him is how I ended up being where I ended up being, state champion and everything.
This is the most amazing opportunity. The facility alone is going to attract so many more athletes. It's not even all the sports too. I think the track is going to be used more for the people come up here to walk and run on it. I think the field can be used a lot more in different ways. This could be a huge, the biggest thing that might ever happen in East Canton.
It will bring prestige to the school. Baseball would use it, softball would use it, midget football would use it, the band would use it, obviously the track team would use it, the cross-country program would use it. It would be used by everybody for many years to come.
I think it'd be a great thing, because if it gets a little dark or a little rainy, we just go to the track. And not every school allows people to even get on their track. So we're really glad that we can go and use that.
It's not something I've mentioned yet, but I feel like there's a tradition in East Canton, and having the facilities to accommodate that tradition that we want to sustain is huge. It's important. And I think when you put effort and your money and you take ownership of something, that's where that pride comes from, and that's where that tradition continues to build.
Everybody has an opportunity to be great here. What you put into at East Canton, academically, with sports, everybody has an opportunity to be great. And that's what East Canton's about.
I hope for the future kids that they can have a chance to be impacted the way that I was impacted. Letting that shape you into the type of people that they're gonna end up being someday. That's what it did for me. Sports made me who I am.
East Canton to me is small town pride, tight-knit community, just a great place to raise your kids.
East Canton definitely made me who I am today. I don't know what type of person I would be if I wasn't raised in a small town like this, not just with athletics, but with all the people in the community.
And you should be extremely proud to put East Canton on your jersey, and be extremely proud to say this is where you come from.